And we're back. Welcome back to the Culture and Cannabis podcast. I am your host, Full-Time Tony, here with my guy,
JC Coates in the building.
And JC, we have a great podcast today. JC, who do we got?
We have a good friend of mine I've known for a while. She's an amazing person. Some would call her a famous cannabis chef. She's been involved in some of the first production kitchens here in Nevada. She's done collabs with Be Real of Cypress Hill. She's been featured on cooking shows on Netflix. Danielle Russell, aka the Happy Chef. Edible D is in the building today. D, are you out there? Are you out there?
Woo!
Oh, there you are. How are you? How are you, Edible D?
I'm, happy, magically happy today. How about yourselves?
Very good, very good, very good. So what's going on with you? You got a new book coming out, right? So how many books have you written now? Cookbooks, right?
I just released my third one.
Nice.
So
tell us a little bit about who you are, and then let's dive right into the book.
All right. Well, my name is Dee, also known as the Happy Chef, Edible D. I've got a lot of nicknames over the years. As JC just said, I opened the first medical marijuana production kitchen in the state of Nevada, and I designed that kitchen along with a medical cannabis research company's their headquarters main production facility. I work currently now as a consultant in the edible industry. I license different recipes. I help other states and countries get formulated and help them along in designing their production and extraction labs, as well as I do on the fun side. I am a 3-time published author of the Happy Chef Cannabis Cookbook series, and my first one was a collaboration I did with Be Real Cypress Hill. It includes his album in there as a free download. And then I released my second cookbook, which was the Expert Edition, where I really go in, with my work in research. I was partnering with a cannabis research company for quite a while, and I break down the compounds, the terpenoids, their boiling points, and how to do what I do professionally, and how to dose yourselves at home for those that wanted to get into the industry a bit. And then my third one is actually way different, and definitely my largest baby, and I'm most proud of it, and it's an interactive autobiographical psychedelic cookbook where I also break down not just cannabis and terpenoids, I break down all psychedelics, but as well teach you how to cook with psilocybin mushrooms. So, very proud of that one.
Nice. Right.
Wow, a lot going on.
Yeah, there's a lot going on. I love how cannabis gives people the opportunity to get really geeked out with skilled labor, right? Recipes and just the things that really go into the industry, but it also gives people that opportunity to be creative, right? Which is amazing, and you're just killing that part over there. You call it the fun stuff. But that new book, Tony, what do you know about psilocybin? Did you say psilocybin? You're cooking with psilocybin?
Yeah, psilocybin cubensis. That's the magic mushroom's technical name. Scientific name.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of psilocybin.
Tony likes the psilocybin.
Yeah, I've never cooked with it before. I mean, I've made PB&J sandwiches and just throw some of the, just throw some stems and some heads in there. Put the bread together, a little PB&J, eat it real quickly. But never cooked with it though. Nice. What's cooking with it like? What's the easiest thing to make? Is it kind of like cooking with cannabis, where you can make butter or an oil?
It's so much easier than cooking with cannabis. That's the cute part. But everyone always likes to focus on mushroom chocolates, and it's mainly because the taste. They do grow. They do grow in chip. So trying to mask the dirt taste and that dehydrated fungi earthy taste. A lot of people do put it in chocolate because cocoa is very bitter, so it does mask the taste a bit. But it's mushrooms at the end of the day. So I brew it in teas, and that masks the taste very well. I do it in pastas and soups and salads, and I make psilocybin gummies, and it's so much easier to cook with because psilocybin and psilocin, which are the two psychoactive compounds in magic mushrooms, it is soluble in water. So
really?
cannabis is only soluble in fats. Psilocybin and psilocin are soluble in water. So, I mean, it's endless what you can do with it.
Nice.
So let me ask you a question here, because for me, I believe like psilocybin, the taste of it has been like, kind of like black coffee, right? You kind of gotta just get used to it, and to a point, you almost not that you like it, but like you kind of look forward to it because you know what on the results of it on the back end. Do you feel that way about psilocybin?
Yes, well, as a chef in general, I gotta make it taste good. That's your job. And as like any kind of medicinal chef, like a cannabis chef or a psilocybin chef, if you're cooking medicine, they say the spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. As a culinary professional, I have to make it taste good. My number one job is to dose you correctly and then make it taste good.
What do you think the two? I mean, besides the fact that psilocybin is water, but you can put it in water soluble, and and THC is fat soluble. What is like the two like biggest difference when consuming it? Is it like because sometimes when you take an edible, it takes like 30 to 45 minutes to kick in sometimes.
Yeah. Okay. So when you're doing an edible, when THCA with delta 9 or tetrahydrocannabinol, right? THC. When you smoke that with just a joint, you're decarboxylating it by lighting it on fire. And decarboxing is a term that we use that makes the compounds active. You're dropping the acid. So you turn THCA into THC. And when you light it on fire, that's adding heat. That's decarboxylation. And then the smoke expands into your lungs, and that's how you get into the bloodstream, right? Well, when you eat it, it changes the compound completely to where it's 11-hydroxy. This turns into this compound right here, and it's 11-hydroxy tetrahydrocannabinol or 11-hydroxy THC, which lasts a lot longer. Way more medicinal, way more sedative effects. It's a completely different high, not so much as the head high you get from regular inhalation, a form of consumption. But the same exact idea or premise is there in psilocybin mushrooms. So you have psilocybin and psilocin, which are the two psychoactive compounds in magic mushrooms. But psilocin is what happens after your body processes it. So it makes the compound active. Same kind of thing of how, like I said, when you light it on fire or you're cooking with it, that's how you decarboxylate it. So in mushrooms, you can eat magic mushrooms wet. I don't recommend it because it takes a lot. It's like a lot of water, and it takes a lot. It fills you up. It takes a lot to get where you want to go. But also the high is polar opposite, extremely different. Kind of like doing raw cannabis. But if you dehydrate the mushrooms, you're doing a low level of heat for a longer period of time. You're, in a sense, decarboxylating the magic mushrooms and then making those compounds active into psilocin, which that opens up the trip, right? And you can do something kind of like in cannabis where we have microdosing where it's from 2 to 5 milligrams a serving, which is considered a microdose for many states. And you could also microdose psilocybin, which is you do not trip at all. You have none of the side effects of disorientation, the jello, like the hallucinations. You don't get any of that. However, it almost acts as taking the edge off one's day and almost like a natural antidepressant.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, definitely. I've been experimenting with microdosing psilocybin for like the past 2 years now, and as of late, I've been like compounding it with like nootropic pills, and that has like chaga and lion's mane in it, which I feel like it really brings out. Like I feel like it's kind of the entourage effect of mushrooms, right? It's having the multiple types of mushrooms there to feed off each other.
Absolutely, and I break down that in my book because when I break down what psychedelics are to cook with whether it's cannabis and or magic mushrooms or kava, you also have terpenes. So as you said, it's like the entourage effect. Well, there's a terpene that's very prominent in the cannabis industry called linalool. It was discovered by Dr. Ivan Russo back in 2008. But linalool is also in the mint family. It's in over 200 species of plants, and it's also in fungi. So linalool is a terpenoid that's also found in magic mushrooms, which is why the synergy between mushrooms and cannabis in all plants. I always preach, I can give you a glass of carrot juice and it's going to make you high. like you're gonna feel an effect. And when say I give you a joint of Insane OG, and I give you 1 gram of Magic, and I take the same. You eat a Big Mac, I eat a caprese salad. We have 2 completely different trips, and I guarantee you mine is going to be better because plants work better with plants. Like synthetic doesn't work very well with organic. So your high is actually better, and your natural medicine works better when you're on a plant-based diet. So that's one big synergy with the entourage effects, where I really believe that like magic mushrooms, like psilocybin and cannabis, will definitely play a role in the future of plant medicine for sure.
Nice. Speaking of, you said, eating healthy and fitness and whatnot. And, I was checking out your Instagram today, and it looks like, you're very involved in your fitness, staying healthy. How do you, implement psilocybin or cannabis into your healthy lifestyle, your healthy diet?
Mind, body, and spirit. You definitely, especially in the challenging times we're in now with COVID and Corona, it's like, and people are all stocking up, right? Because we're in lockdown. So they're buying in bulk all the processed poison that they put in the shelves. And so you're not eating right, you're gaining weight, and the depression sets in, now you're not working out, now you're lethargic, now apathy sets in. Anyone that does microdosing mushrooms, as you very well know, if you've been doing it for 2 years, it definitely, we call them ego killers, right? So magic mushrooms are excellent source of a therapeutic meditation kind of medicine. So if you really want to get your head right, you can even do a 0.5 gram of magic and, pour yourself a bath, do a little bit of self-care, but microdosing them as well, like that it's being studied right now to be a very strong therapeutic antidepressant and for PTSD. And therapists are using this as a way to like bring out, past traumas and actually help in that sense of like psychology. So that and cannabis together, doing them as a microdosing, incorporating them in your foods like smoothies, natural smoothies, your teas, green tea, and working out. Like I know many athletes that love it, like Mike Tyson being one of them, that, he definitely consumes before he works out. It helps him build endurance.
So what is considered an official microdose amount? Like how many grams? 0.5 gram, 1.5, 0.25? What's it look
Which
like?
one? Cannabis or magic?
Psilocybin.
Mary or magic?
Magic.
Magic? Magic. The golden, or we say the rule there is you're supposed to do 1/10 of your trip dose, which in all of my R&D, I find that to be very accurate, except for your trip dose kind of varies on your tolerance. So if you are a habitual, magic connoisseur, obviously your trip dose is going to be a little bit higher. For those of you guys that are just now getting into it and introducing yourself to this kind of medicine, I would recommend doing no more than 0.3 of a gram. So, it's extremely microdose, and you would just weigh that out. You can capsule them yourself, almost like you would any supplement that you can find at GNC or, Walgreens or whatnot. Or you could just measure them out. I measure them out with a little spoon, and I'll throw them in and steep them in my tea or add them in my smoothie every morning.
So I had an experience at the beginning of the quarantine. We bought about an ounce of mushrooms, and we tried we tried the microdosing, right? And so what I did, I just threw them in the Ninja, and just got them to like this powdery consistency, and then I just put it in a bag, and then I got the scales, and then I have to agree with you because I didn't really understand what a microdose for me was, and so I just kind of played around with it, and I started out, for me, like if I'm going to trip mushrooms and go all the way in, that looks like about 3 grams for me, and so that'll put me in kind of like, no man's land, right? And so I started with like 1.5 grams, and that was a little bit too much for me, and then I got down to 1 gram, still a little bit too much on the daily microdose, and I think I ended up, for me, I'm about 175. I ended up at like a 0.75, and everything, I didn't see colors. Everything was just like crispy, kind of clear. I could tell I was on it, and I rolled with that for about 21 days. But to be honest with you, I just didn't get a whole lot out of the microdosing. I mean, just for me, right? And What kind of brings me to my question is, for me, on the medicinal level, is like I like to go all the way, right? When I really want to have like, an experience that could be medicinal or something that I'm looking for, when I use the mushroom, I'm going, for that full-on trip, right? How do you kind of describe that full-on trip on a medicinal level for you?
Oh, well, that I'd call opening portals. When you start getting up into 3 grams, 3.5, taking an eighth or higher, that's when you're doing that. That's when you blast off. That's the boomers, the shamanic dose, because that there is the DMT molecule is actually in the psilocybin compound. So you get the grids, you get the hallucinations, you see like Avatar, things breathe, walls breathe, and everything's moving, walls, countertops, everything vibrates. So there is that level, which again, I look at that, doing that as a boom, as opening portals, or just kind of allowing your brain to function on a level that it doesn't often. I meet a lot of individuals that don't even like mushrooms. Like, and I'm talking about regular edible mushrooms that you would eat every day. They have a problem with the texture. So they won't even add mushrooms into their diet. But mushrooms, including the non-magical kind and the magical kind, are the best thing for you. They're amazing. They're like a probiotic. So like 80% of your body's serotonin levels is produced in your gut. And mushrooms act as a probiotic. So your serotonin levels is what balances your mood. It literally is what makes us all sane. It's what makes us healthy and happy. So completely depriving your body of like no mushrooms whatsoever, you're not getting your probiotics like that. So that's why it's also being studied for depression and like et cetera like that. But like what you said, there's benefits to either one. I understand you completely. I did microdose and I really didn't get much to it, and it's because a lot of people, they do. They're all like, I don't want to waste it on a microdose. I want to feel it. Like I want to. So as I always say, there's levels to this shit. You can take your microdose. And, that can kind of take the edge off your day, but you're still able to function. You're not hallucinating, but it allows you to get outside of yourself, where for me, I really feel like I'm a lot better in business. I feel like I'm a lot more energetic. I feel like I can relate to people a lot more, especially my team, just like going through ideas like, mushrooms and probiotics, they're brain food. Lion's mane, which is a non-psychedelic mushroom, is excellent brain food. And like just that alone and what it does, like in that retrospect, health-wise, you have benefits of doing microdosing to even a therapeutic dose of 1 gram. Like you said, that's when you start seeing colors and like a little bit your sensory enhancements start happening with taste, smell, hear, sight, everything. Then you can go into the boom effect, which that's usually a lot of people's favorites, the trip team's favorites.
Trip team. Well, I think it's great that we're talking about it, because I mean, even myself, I'll admit to it, that I had kind of a skewed view of psilocybin. I thought it was drugs, or it's like it was one of those things that I never would have imagined, like microdosing mushrooms. And it just goes along with that stigma, right? And I think mushrooms is becoming legal across a bunch of different markets, right? And it's an exciting new thing. Maybe it's going to be like cannabis. Who knows? But what about you, Tony? You like to go to the boom, or are you?
Sometimes, just depends.
Yeah.
But I want to switch it up here a little bit. I want to talk about you were on the Netflix original series Cooking on High. I want to ask you about that experience, and how does it kind of feel to be like a celebrity cannabis chef now?
Gosh. Honestly, it was really surreal. When I filmed Cooking on High, we were at Warner Brothers Studios, and it was August 2016. And I had filmed a few things since then. Obviously, I've done a lot of work with Cypress-Hill, so I'm on B-Real TV, which that's B-Real's Studio This Is Network. I worked with Snoop Dogg, with Snoop Dogg's Mary Jane, where I did episodes of Smoke in the Kitchen. So I've done a lot of cooking with cannabis filming, but mainly on the digital world. So when I worked with with the production company, I honestly thought, because of the legalities of cannabis, that it would stay digital. And so I really wasn't thinking much of it. And 6 months went by, and I'm asking the producer, I'm like messaging him, like 6 months after 2016 August. So I'm like, hey, you got any hero shots? Do you have anything for me to post? Any way I can promote? nope, not yet, chef. We're getting right to you. Okay, a year goes by. Hey, what's up? You got any hero shots? Anything I can promote? Nope, not yet. And then all of a sudden, June 2018, I get a link sent to me from the producer that says the Iron Chef of Cooking with Cannabis hits Netflix. And I thought that he was just putting me into another production, like another show, because I'd done others with him during the 2 years. And I was like, oh, is this something I'd be interested in? And he's like, no, you were in it. You're in actually 3 episodes. Remember Cooking on High? And I was just like, what? Like, oh my goodness. Like, I didn't even know what color my hair was, because I was blonde at one point. I was like, had purple hair at one point. And I just saw like, which show is that? I was like, I was so excited. And I'm happy, I'm very proud and honored to be one of the first ones that was actually on international television cooking with cannabis, because I think that even more so gets rid of the stigma and, more mainstreams it. But it also, it's hard to take a lot of credit or feel really good about it when so many individuals are still locked up for it. You know what I mean? It's like, here I am smoking cannabis on international television, cooking with it. Like, we were really cooking with the real plant on the show on Warner Brothers Studios. And, there's still people locked up for it. So it's kind of like a catch-22 for me there.
Yeah, no, definitely. But, I mean, it's unfortunate that some people are locked up to the fact that it's a plant, right? At the end of the day, it's a plant. With that being said, though, you are leading the charge and a trailblazer when it comes to cooking with cannabis. What's been your favorite show to work on? And if it was Cooking on High, that's cool too.
Honestly, I've been really loving my own series because I'm a lot less muted, and I can Cooking on High and all these series, while they are fun, and one of the main side effects of cannabis is happy, so it's always been promoted in comedies, like it's been Cheech and Chong the fuck up. Let's just put it that way. So when I did this show, Cooking on High, and like all the other ones, of course the judges, they're just like, yo man, like I'm so messed up, and it makes us in the industry, especially those of us in production or cultivators, we have to really, push people's minds in a way of like, we do so much more. Like, I don't just make pot brownies, guys. Like, I'm doing fractional distillation with heavy solvents, and I'm working with $500,000 equipment. I'm like doing microwave terpene extraction. Like, we're doing so many things in the industry that people don't understand because it's so new. The industry's still so new, and I just feel like the way the judges and the Cheech and Chong of it, I just feel like it just kind of discredits the many brilliant minds that I've met and seen in our industry, like the cultivators that, they hit numbers that are just like, what? Have you looked at high times in 1970s? Like, we didn't even look like that, like we've definitely had progress. And I just feel like the more knowledge and information that we get out there, which is mainly what my focus and my advocacy has been, is education. Because I've had to sit on a lot of edible panels in my career and had to just keep edibles around, because we were almost banned in multiple states because of our molds. Like, gummy bears, it's child friendly, you can't have this, Well, and while some patients need it, like they have lung issues, esophageal issues, like they just don't prefer smoking, or some states like Georgia and Louisiana, nothing is smoking, everything is extracted right down into production, into lozenges and everything. So oral consumption has to be an avenue that's a staple in the industry. And, it's been a definite roller coaster of a battle. A lot of downs, but a lot of nice highs. I'm happy that I'm still around.
Yeah, no, definitely. And I know that you were doing like live cooking classes probably before all this COVID happens. Is that something that you're going to try to still do post-COVID?
Yes, I'm hoping so. I was blessed enough to work with a couple different companies, as well as I do them with Dr. Green Thumbs, where in a Puerto Rico medical business conference also, I do my classes down there, but I do a live cannabis cooking show where I teach patients how to make their own medicine. And, I make it fun. Being in Vegas, that was probably the best live studio audience I had, because I have a lot of talent and a lot of very talented friends and artists in the area, as well as advocates that I could bring on my show. So, I had a DJ, like I had Twix from Magic Mike Live as one of my guests. I had Dr. Dina, who is my sister and like one of my best friends in the industry. If y'all don't know her, you should. And follow her at Dr. Dina 420. She's actually the reason why I was on Netflix Cooking on High. She put me in for that show. But she's known as the real Nancy Botwin and a legend in our industry, and she was my first guest. So, being in Vegas, we're just surrounded by so many. And I got to, make learning fun. And I almost wanted to bring like a weed science, Bill Nye science guy meets a live studio audience into the industry. So I will be bringing those back once Corona decides to, pass this on by in American Corona again.
Nice. Yeah, we're excited to get back to events as well. Maybe we'll have to do a culture and cannabis edible D collab.
Ooh, I'm super down for that.
And we definitely need to do a culture as food with edible D.
Yeah, we definitely should. Yeah, check out those culture as food videos, D.
Yeah. Check them out.
How was it working with the Be Real camp and the Cypress Hill people? How was that experience?
They are family. They are complete. They're my brother's family for life. I've known them for over a decade now, and Be Real is in my book. That's 7 years old now, and the one that is probably my best friend and brother of everything, his name is Kenji Fukushima, and he is Be Real's partner in every way that you can be in business. He's partnered at the Dr. Green Thumb dispensaries. He's also his head cultivator, or some people would say master grower. He will never call himself that, but he's been growing cannabis for over 25 plus years, and he would always say, he goes, D, I grow it and you make it expensive, because whatever he would grow that you can't sell is smokable, right? Because us cannabis connoisseurs, in the industry, we want we were looking at the nug, we're looking at the trim job, like you got a tree trunk on there for a stem, like how are you doing this, and everything that he couldn't sell as smokables, though, I could extract down and turn into SKUs. I could turn them all into multiple products. Make them into bath bombs, topicals, gummies, lozenges. It was endless because there's no waste in the plant. Awesome, but it was interesting when one of my partnerships out here actually went really south, and I suffered a really big loss, and I go in depth in this in my latest cookbook, Indelic Dishes, because I also wrote it as an autobiography, explaining how I got into these worldly medicines, because I go into, all psychedelics, as I said. I go into ayahuasca and ibogaine and peyote and magic mushrooms. But I told my story of like where I came from, how I met Be Real, Cypress Hill, and Kenji, how I started working with them. But when I hit a hard loss, they were right there to help pick me up. So, and definitely put a fire under my ass. So I'm actually going to go see them this weekend.
Nice.
I'm excited about it. Yeah.
Very cool.
I haven't seen them since February, so I'm normally in LA half the month, but Corona kind of made LA probably the biggest, don't go there.
100%.
Nice.
Yeah, and our good friend Todd Dakin as well.
Todd
Dakin.
I do. I work with him. We do our podcast together. I'm the edible expert in the field on the National Marijuana News Network. So he's awesome. He's he's been in the industry a long time, and we work together. I did a lot of work with DigiPath Labs, and he was also involved in the research company that I worked with Craig Ellens. And he's an amazing man. It's awesome.
Nice.
Awesome.
Nice.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really, really appreciate it.
Yes.
Where can people find you? I know you're doing online cooking classes right now. Where can people find that stuff? Give us the whole shebang.
Yeah, I'm at Edible D on everything, literally. I'm Edible D on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, Patreon, OnlyFans, Twitter, and edibledee.com is my website. You can find everywhere I'm at on there, as well as all of my shows and my podcasts. And yeah, definitely tune into. I break it down on my YouTube channel as well as my Patreon of the how-to on how to grow your own magic, how to extract, how to cook with it, and again, it's Happy Chef Uncensored. So definitely check it out.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We'll definitely have you back. We'll do a Culture is Food soon.
Yes.
Hopefully
you,
then soon. Thank you so much.
Talk to you
Definitely.
soon.
Thank you guys for having me. Mad love to both of you. So good to see your faces. It's been so long.
Soon.
Talk to you soon. Thank you, D.
Wow.
That was great, right?
That was great.
I'm gonna get that new cookbook.
Chef, I was literally thinking that. As soon as she said, I was like, damn, I gotta read about that story.
Yeah.
I'm interested now.
Yeah, there it is.
There it is.
EdibleD.com.
EdibleD.com. I was looking at it right now when we were talking to get some notes. It was great. What do we got going on?
All kinds of stuff, man.
We're getting into some new dispensaries.
We're getting into
I'm gonna announce. We can announce the ones in Reno now.
Sure.
So we
Get after
were gonna get Sierra Wellness and Canna up in Northern Nevada. Very excited about that. We're gonna be taking the Culture and Cannabis squad up there. We're gonna rent a van, throw everybody in it, and get it rocking and rolling. We're gonna be up there shooting some content. If you are looking to shoot some content with the Culture and Cannabis team, hit us up. We're gonna be shooting some Culture is Food episodes, which is really cool. And yeah, Reno, August 8th through 12th. Come say what's good. We're going to have a great time. And I'll also be up there the 5th through the 8th for a normal retreat.
Yeah.
So I'm excited.
It's gonna be. I can't wait to get up north.
Up north. Back on the road again.
Yeah. Let's get it.
Anything else down here?
I mean,
we're just rocking and rolling,
We're
right?
rocking and rolling. Listen, we have a vision to be in new markets, right?
We're trying.
And you know, we got a plan together. You know, we've been talking to people. We're setting up meetings. And, man, we're getting closer. So you're going to see us in a new market. I know I talked about it last week, but I'm talking about it again on purpose because
Manifestation.
Manifestation, you know what I mean? And, you know, catch a vision.
Make it happen.
Make it happen.
We're going to send JC to Oklahoma.
I'm going back to Oklahoma.
He's going back. He's going back, people.
So,
he can't go back. And that's it. We have a new episode of Culture is Food dropping this Saturday.
Mm-hmm. Every Saturday.
I forget who it's with, honestly, but we'll post about it later.
Yeah.
It'll be all good.
Check it out.
And I feel like I had something else to say about Culture and Cannabis, but I guess not. Be on the lookout for some giveaways soon.
Giveaways.
Yeah, we just we've been doing some research on doing some cool giveaways. So if you like free stuff, hit us up.
Free shit.
Free shit. And that's the Culture and Cannabis podcast.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
We're going to be back next Thursday. I won't be here. JC will be in studio. I'll be in Tahoe, but I will be remoting in. We're going to have some cool people on the podcast. Don't know who it is, but we'll let you know soon. And that's it. Happy Thursday. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.